Well, folks, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We are here today to deliver a special preview of the CoderZ League. This is an informal informational session. My name is Jim McVetti, and I'm serving as your host today for the session to introduce CoderZ League. We're super excited about the entering into our fourth year of this competition. Today's session is intended to give you an overview of the new structure for CoderZ League, formerly known as CRCC, and also give you a sneak preview of some of the challenges. We're joined by Stephanie and Mike, both veteran educators and folks who have been a part of this competition in the past. And so we're going to be really excited to get some of your reaction as well. So Mike might be going in and out. I'm not sure. We'll see. But as it stands, yes. You're there. All right, right on. Welcome, welcome. So here's our agenda for today. We're going to start with these brief introductions. We're going to go through the basis for competition, and we share this so that some of you who are advocates in your schools for getting classes in schools joining this competition, we want to give you some of the energy you can use to champion this cause in your own school. We'll talk about how it works and what are our guiding principles for this competition, the structure. We'll even give you a tour, and of course, along the way, we're really excited about Stephanie and Mike to share their perspective. In fact, let's go there now. Stephanie, tell us a little bit about yourself and your past participation.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am a biology teacher, and STEM teacher here in South Florida. And prior to CoderZ, I had absolutely zero experience with coding. And we have participated since 2018, and we have loved every minute of it. So I'm just going to put out there right in the beginning, if there is anything I can help you with at any point, give me a shout out, and whatever I can do to help you.
Thanks, Stephanie, for that introduction and that support. Mike, you're on audio, if I understand.
Yeah, for some reason my webcam, I think it's our Wi-Fi here at the school, is having a little glitch. So, hi everybody, I'm Mike Benezeski. I'm from Hasbrook Heights in New Jersey here. Like Stephanie, I joined also in 2018, and it's the greatest experience that my kids have ever had. I was lucky enough that when we joined, we didn't know about the competition. We actually signed up for the CoderZ program. And when we found out about the CRC competition, it was just a godsend. The kids were so excited from doing the coding to actually get a chance to compete against other schools, and they love it. Every year that they get the chance, they can't wait to sign up.
Well, we're glad to have you. And I think if we do nothing else, if we could just spend the next half hour talking about your yearbook photo, it is truly magical. And it's something I aspire to. But Mike, it's that kind of energy that we're looking for from all of our educators, and you and Stephanie bring that, and we're really excited. And Trevor, you've been air traffic control for this event for what, going into its fourth year now, haven't you?
Correct. So this will be my fourth year as competition master for the CoderZ League. I'm Trevor Pope, for anybody who has not met me. Our team has worked extremely hard to create some amazing and intense challenges for your competitors this year. I know that you've all been through a lot of changes over the course of the past year. I want to take a quick moment to say thank you to everyone in our audience today for all that you do as community leaders to inspire, to encourage, to motivate and challenge your young people's minds every day. We at the CoderZ League headquarters are extremely excited to share this sneak peek with you today and show you the new format and structure of CoderZ League.
Well, let's dive right in. First, you've heard from us. Let's hear from you. I want to take a quick poll, and there's actually two questions. I just want to get us warmed up. This is on everybody's mind right now, which is, how are you going back to school? So we're going to launch a poll real quick, and your options are hybrid learning, remote learning, going back fully in class, or other. And we'll start to see the progress right now. Stephanie, you are in your building right now, but what's your setup?
Right now we have, we're calling it hybrid, but our hybrid is we have physical as well as remote going on at the same exact time.
Okay, so you have synchronous happening, both
yes.
Physical and remotely. And how about you, Mike? I noticed you're in the building as well, but are you also taking a hybrid or remote approach?
We switched in New Jersey here to remote for the month of September. In October, we'll go to a hybrid with the kids, hoping to come back full time, hopefully by winter.
And it looks like that's pretty consistent. So the results are in. 54% of respondents have said they're remote learning. 33 are at hybrid, so a third of you are doing hybrid. Just under 10% are in class and 6% are other, which might mean you've just packed it in and gone home. And you know what? I'm not sure I believe it. So let's talk a little bit about your experience then. And this is an easy yes or no question, which is, do you have any experience with robotics competitions in the past? Now, I can say that I don't, but I'm here alongside Trevor and Stephanie and Mike, who have a lot of experience with this. And right now, oh, this is fantastic. This is exciting. So 70% of you, 72% of you have said you have no experience with virtual robotics and coding competitions in the past.
Excellent. This is the perfect place for them.
Stephanie,
actually, you led with that. You had no experience coming in, did you?
I had absolutely no experience whatsoever. Thank you, Trevor. The CoderZ team has been phenomenal as far as support. Again, I thank Trevor and his team because they have answered so many questions from us and my team here, our teachers, our students, and they've been so helpful. All I'm going to start out with is it is so doable, and it is the best thing that I brought into our program here at school. It really is.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, well, that's pretty compelling. I mean, I think one of the things that, especially now, is we have to find as inclusive a model for STEM as we possibly can. And it's harder than ever in these remote settings or these hybrid settings, or I would even argue this like quick pivot that we had to do in the spring, and we may yet have to do this fall. So that continuity of learning is going to be key, and it's intimidating enough. So let's find a way to make it easy. Trevor, I'm going to turn to you about why competitions matter. I mean, you've been air traffic control, you've been competition master for 4 years. Tackle these first 2 points, because what I really want to do is give our audience, 70+% of them have never done this before. So let's reinforce for them why competitions matter. And then Stephanie and Mike, I might turn to you for the second points.
So this year, it's a tough year for everybody. It's a tough year for robotics students, regardless of where you are. For many, any hands-on programs have now been, they're now hands-off. So they've all been put on hold. So CoderZ League is a great opportunity for all students, whether you're in class, whether you're hybrid, whether you're remote, to stay engaged, to stay learning, to stay participating in this virtual robotics tournament. And as Stephanie mentioned, as Mike mentioned, no experience required. You just hop in and students kind of lead the way, and you go with the flow, and it's really a rewarding experience for everybody involved.
And that community aspect is pretty important. So what I've seen in studying this movement is there is a community that gets built around STEM, but in particular around coding and robotics, which is kind of fascinating. And Stephanie, I see you nodding, so you acknowledge that. But I'm also curious if you could speak to the notion of project-based learning, which, in some ways has a formal definition, but even less formally, it's really about getting stuff done, really about solving problems. And I imagine that was part of the draw for you.
Absolutely. We have a mantra here that we go by, and it's no one codes alone. So right from the get-go, we started with, it doesn't matter if you have experience, if you're a gamer, you're not a gamer, you hate math, you hate coding, it didn't matter. We just went, no one codes alone. So the way we set up our teams is in class, I'll project it like on my front board, and then we would all code together. How'd you get this? And how'd you get that? And let's help each other out. So we had that communication going, and it actually built up, built our solidarity up, so to speak. And we coded as a school, but we also coded individually by grades. So we took the approach of our school is jumping into the CoderZ coding. And then, we were lucky enough, we made it to finals and we went on, but we had this, whether the students traveled or not, they still had the support of each other. So it just really built a nice set of community and that conversation, which was really good, really good.
Yeah, it's really important. And Mike, now I've been told you have a hot meeting you have to get to in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to capture some of your voice as much as I can early on. I'm curious, the extent to which you saw 21st century skills emerge as a result of competition. Because, you know, as a layperson, as a non-educator, I look at a coding experience as learning where to place zeros and ones. But what I have found through working with Trevor and others is that so much more seems to happen. And it sounds like that happened with your teams as well.
Oh yeah, I've been lucky enough that from starting, I took a different approach with my students. I started with the basics to show them how to do the coding, and then tried to develop students that were able to excel a little more so they could be actual instructors also to help students along. What became real exciting, like Stephanie said, was that when one student wasn't sure how to go and make a turn to go 90 degrees, another student who did went and said, oh, all you have to do is go in, boom, boom, boom. And the kids were able to grasp the concept. By the time they were advancing to higher levels, they were so in tune with each other that it was like, why am I spinning around? Oh, I forgot to go and put a go forward. And the kids would just go and help each other. And they excelled in a competition sense, in that they wanted to show that they could do it. And when they excelled and could help another student, they felt even more accomplishment with themselves there.
Yeah. I mean, that's right in line with what Stephanie said about no one codes alone. It's so important. And I think it's a big reason why these competitions are so important. I'm just going to do a brief interlude here, which is to say, welcome to those of you who joined just after the hour. Some of you were here before. You heard us in the warm-ups to this session. So welcome. We're glad you're here. There is a question panel. We'll do our best to answer the questions either live, or our staff in the background is tracking these and we will follow up. We're here today talking about CoderZ League, formerly known as CRCC. If you're interested, you can go right to that website. It's posted here on the screen. You can even start to explore registration options, but we have plenty of content to get through today. If you're wondering just what's happening here, we're talking about a groundbreaking international competition. And as you just heard our guest speakers talk about, it's really intended to engage students regardless of their background, regardless of their experience, and that holds true for teachers as well. So for some of you who are wondering, is this thing right for me because I don't know how to code? This is exactly right for you. And in fact, I'm really excited because our early poll showed that about 70 to 75% of you have no experience with competitions. So we hope you can walk away from today's session feeling really good about what's ahead. So also, I can't help but look at this screenshot of the CoderZ environment, and it is pretty fascinating. I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the substance of our work, not necessarily from a platform perspective, but from the people we're trying to engage. Now, this program's had over 150,000 participants over the prior 3 years. But it's not just the total number that we're after, is it, Trevor? It's really about who we're trying to engage. Can you speak to some of these stats?
No, and yes, CoderZ has had such a powerful impact on so many students. And it's great to see these numbers increase. We're hoping to double these numbers this year, but we couldn't have achieved these results without all of our partners are shown. Last year, we had 36 different U.S. states participate in CRCC. We hosted 12 regional finals events across the country. One event I remember fondly is the regional finals at VCU, which is Virginia Commonwealth University. It's the beginning of the day. I'm at the front desk checking in teams as they're arriving, and I'm giving them their name badges and handing out CoderZ brochures. And one of the kids comes up to the table, and I looked at him. I go, "I recognize you." And the kid kind of looks at me and raises that eyebrow of a middle school kid, saying, "How the heck do you recognize me?" So I handed him the CoderZ brochure, and his picture is actually on the front of the brochure. So he's, I met him live in person, the kid that's on the picture of the front cover. So it made his day. It completely made his day. He didn't care about his performance that day. It didn't matter to him how well he did in that competition. He was the superstar of the day because his picture was on the front of that CoderZ brochure. So I made him feel special. I had him autograph a copy. I keep it in the office. It's on my desk there. So that's one of the many reasons. It's so rewarding to see that excitement, that energy level of each student, each competitor that's there. As they represent their school, they represent their regional, in a finals event. And I'm grateful for all of these partners that allow these unique moments.
Yeah, and the partner-driven approach has been important, especially for the physical, regional finals and the world finals. Now we're going totally virtual this year, which is a big change. but we still want to capture that magic and that momentum. And Stephanie, forgive me, but I think, did you have an all-girls team last year? Is that right?
We may have, we may have, and we may have come in second place.
That's pretty compelling. So for those of you starting to think about, again, level of experience, or perhaps communities that have been traditionally marginalized with respect to STEM, this is a great way to build some energy. Some questions coming in. This webinar is being recorded and will be posted live for you to come revisit. The competition, we'll talk more about the structure. It is not only within a school, but it is also between schools. So we have a preliminary round, we have group stages and regional finals up to a world final. So you'll see, as is the case today, we have 4 continents represented, maybe 5 at this point, because our attendee list has grown considerably. So this is very much a global competition. Another question that came in is there a minimum number of students required for a team? And Trevor, I don't believe there is a minimum. We do have caps in terms of the registration level around a group, a class, or a school, but I don't believe there's a minimum. I would say, though, that in honoring Stephanie and Mike, who really foster that collaboration experience, no one codes alone, so you should think of this as a team event. Is that right?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, right on, right on. And another technical question, can this be done on a Chromebook? Yes, it's optimized to operate on a Chromebook. All you need is an internet connection. In fact, we'll preview some of that in just a few minutes. So you've already heard from a couple of educators who show you the energy. These are actual quotes from the past because teachers do say it best. And some of the things that we like to see coming out of this competition are the fact that kids become suddenly invigorated. Kids who enter into this not knowing if this is right for them, go home thinking they want to be an engineer because they're able to overcome obstacles together. So it's really important to foster, the ability to face a challenge and demonstrate resilience. That's some of the best reasons that this competition, and frankly, any competition of this kind, makes a lot of sense. So we're really excited about that. And I think the reason we get to that is our guiding principles aren't just about delivering an exceptional platform experience for sure, but it's really about what are we trying to accomplish. And Trevor, you've been at this longer than I have, so why don't you talk us through a little bit about these guiding principles for CoderZ League?
Really, the mission of CRCC or CoderZ League is inclusiveness. It's to make robotics accessible and available to all. So we encourage all students, regardless of experience level, to participate at any level that they're comfortable with. Our objective is not to replace any existing hardware robotics competition that you're in, but we do want to supplement these programs by giving these students the ability to expand and to refine and to enhance their knowledge. CoderZ is international this year. We've got 4 continents represented, so we will have participants from all over the globe writing code. That's really going to be exciting to see. Like you mentioned, CoderZ is web-based. It's going to be accessible to anyone with that internet connection. Simply just log in and start coding. There's no downloads. There's no installation of executable files. And in my experience, I've had the privilege to visit several classrooms during the competition phases, and it's really great to see how excited, how motivated these students are. It's such an inspiration to me to bring that back to the office and say, yes, we got to do this, we got to change this, we got to modify this, we got to make this better for next year.
And Mike, can you weigh in on some of these guiding principles and how you've employed them in your own group?
The biggest thing that I came is, you've all been saying, I had students that never understood anything about computers, coding, and came in and were able to go and do the baby steps to where they gradually went on to where they actually were competing in the competition last year. And we came in, like Stephanie, in our group, we came in second place also. And what made it so exciting for the kids wasn't what their score was, it was their sense of accomplishment every level they were finishing in the competition. So the kids, no matter what level they are, love the fact that feeling that they were able to complete something. And it was fun. Every person who's ever done CoderZ League, for all my students I've taught, over 500 kids, they've all said it's the most fun they've had in a STEM class.
Nice, right on, right on. Just want to acknowledge some questions that came in. I'm looking at the question panel, which isn't live to everybody, but Trevor, quick technical question. Is there a maximum size for a team?
So we're offering registration on 3 levels. There's a team registration, which is 5 students. Then there is a class registration, which is 30 students. And we're offering a school registration, which is 240 students, essentially 8 classes of 30 students each.
Okay, right on. So that helps with organizing the size. I would say that you've been at this for a while now. You had tens of thousands of participants last year. So one of the questions came in was, how confident are we can withstand the scale at which this operates? And I think the confidence is high. I don't think, Stephanie or Mike, you ever ran into issues. Maybe a little bit of a load time on that first packet, but otherwise you haven't run into that. Is that right?
If I could speak up, honestly, any minor glitch or a minor problem or question that we had, we just reached right out. And like I said before, Trevor and his team, they were on it within 24 hours. There was a response. So we had the support almost immediately.
Okay,
Yeah.
right on.
And like you were saying, in terms of the load times and everything like that, for us, it's been seconds that, tens of seconds for getting on. It was never like minutes that you're waiting. So it's been where it's been very good getting on for those who are worried about that. Never an issue.
Okay, great. Well, let's keep it going. There's a lot of questions coming in. We do see them. Some of them are about the structure. And Trevor, I'd ask you to walk us through the structure, because this year, folks, we're introducing 2 new leagues. One is CoderZ League Junior, and the other is CoderZ League Pro. So this will address some of the questions that have come in through our panel. Before you comment though, Trevor, I would like you to acknowledge that this isn't simply rooted in a school setting. So if you have an independent club, like at a boys club or a girls club, those are also eligible to participate as teams. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, we had a homeschool team, a participant of one compete in the Connecticut finals last year. He won the entire event. So, you can certainly participate. You certainly have a chance to compete against the bigger schools and bigger districts if you are a smaller team.
Great. All right, terrific. So tell us about the division here and also the prerequisite recommendations.
Yeah, so kind of to preface that, we always want to challenge the students and kind of push them to their limits, but at the same time, we don't want to overwhelm the students and make them feel that this is too hard, I can't do this. So it's a really fine line for us on the development scale to create those missions. And we've learned that each year that we do this competition, we need to raise that bar higher and higher and higher to challenge them a little bit further, to push them out of their boundaries, but again, not overwhelm students. So the question came up, well, how do we do that? How do we keep raising the bar, but still make this accessible to those new users, to those beginner users that still want to come in and make a part of it? So the solution is 2 different leagues, essentially 2 different divisions. There's a CoderZ League Junior. This is essentially for younger and for beginner coders. Students will use a block league to code their way through challenges. I'll show you that in a few slides so you'll be able to see that. And then for students with previous programming experience, the Pro League is definitely the way to go. Students will get a chance to use block league, or they can code in Python to code their robots through various exciting challenges. It's going to be 2 separate challenges or levels of challenges for each league. And schools have the opportunity to register for one. You can register for both. You can kind of pick and choose the path that is best for your students.
And so what is CR 101 and 102? These are courses within the CoderZ League curriculum platform that is separate from the league, but available to you when you register. If I understand, you can register for a time-limited access to those courses to help build that fundamental knowledge. So that's what those courses are. Yes, you can have separate classes registered. So if you have a 5th grade class or a 6th grade class, I think that's also perfectly fine. You can do that. And I'm looking at some other questions that are flying in. Folks, we have a ton of attendees. So I think I've covered most of them. If I don't, I promise I'll try and get back. So thanks for that overview of the structure. Now, Mike, what were the grades that you were teaching, and how do you think you're going to point your kids, junior or pro?
Well, I actually went and started, when we first started with the CoderZ program, it was for middle school only, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. What happened was my 8th graders graduated into high school and were so wanting when they did the CR 101. When 102 came out, we signed up right away, and I have high schoolers doing it also. So for the first time in my district, we're going to have people coding in the junior and the pro for this coming year. So the kids have been excelling. I also, for those, I also teach a STEM summer camp, and I brought CoderZ to STEM summer camp, and it was international for the kids that were in the camp. It was virtual, and the kids all around the world who had never saw coding before loved the program and are trying to get their schools to sign up too. So I can't stress enough, like, this is so exciting when you get the chance to do it with your kids.
Okay, all right, right on, right on. Stephanie, you have a legacy to protect here. So where do you think you're going to be entering?
I don't know. This is a tough one. I'm going to throw it out. I'll probably end up, oh, this is a tough one. I'm probably going to end up, I want to go pro, but you know what? I don't want anybody to be scared off. So I might open up the junior as well. I'm really not sure where I'm going to go with it just yet. But I'll probably dabble a little bit in both, just because I don't want anybody to feel like they're, I want to give them that opportunity to start, and then if we can, move them up.
Right, right, exactly. And folks, you can go to CoderZLeague.com to learn more about the league, to see the registration and the pricing for the different levels of access if you want to bundle in courses. And there's also a contact us feature there. So if you have a specific question unique to your situation, whether it's minimum number of students, maximum number of students, our team, including Trevor, will be standing by. So they'll be ready to help you. Let's walk through the timeline. And again, folks, if you've joined a little bit late and you're just catching up, we're talking about CoderZ League 2020, formerly known as CRCC. This is a global coding and robotics competition. It's 100% virtual. So we recognize that a lot of your schools are going back hybrid. A greater percentage are going back fully remote with the intent of going hybrid later in the year. But with so much uncertainty around the physical nature of our education environments, this competition for the first time will be entirely virtual. So that means if you're fully remote or hybrid, we still are driving towards equitable access. So it's fully online all the way through, including an exciting culmination just after the new year. So registrations are open now. Folks can register and they'll get ready for September orientation webinars. Trevor, talk us quickly through the timeline for these stages.
Yeah, so as of this morning, anybody who has already registered for CoderZ League, you should have received your welcome email, your account information, so you can log in. The packs are not open to you. You will be able to see them there, and they'll be locked for you. Those, I guess if you did pre-order the CR101 or the CR102 competition packs or the practice packs, those will be open and available to you, so you can create classes. Students can start going through those. For everybody who orders the CoderZ League, preliminaries will be open to everybody on October 19th. That's where we're going to unlock the competition. Everybody will have access to that. We will soon close registration after we open the preliminary, so we won't allow any new teams to register after that point. After that preliminary round, we're going to go into a group stage where teams will compete in groups in their region and in various territory. And then we'll kind of reduce that size of that group with playoffs, and then get into a regional finals event. And we'll end the season with a giant world finals where all of our regional winners will come together and we'll crown a world champion.
And Stephanie, your team, how much time per week do you think they were putting into this when they were really like in the throes of the competition, moving through stages? Were they doing, an hour a week, 50 hours a week? I'm sure it varied, but rough guess, I think it's a measure of engagement. So how would you describe their week-to-week level of engagement?
So the way we have it set up is I have my team of we did it in our science classes. So I asked my team to maybe half hour to an hour a week of class time, whether it was in one lump or if it was segregated, in different days. This year, we're actually going to be doing it as part of our breakout rooms. For those of you out there that are teaching via Zoom or whatever your,
Oh, nice.
mode is. So we're actually setting it up that we're going to put even our physical and our remote, we're going to put them in Zoom rooms. And we're probably looking at, again, maybe an hour or two, about an hour.
And they would probably take more if you let them.
They would, you know what, that's the other thing though. We do instructional about an hour. But the other teachers on our campus are very open to if they have downtime, if it's the end of one class and they need like a filler, so to speak. I've had teachers call me and say, they're playing a game, and I'm like, no, they're actually coding. Oh, okay. So that's
Right.
how we kind of got it into the other classes.
Right.
So the kids, you'll see them all over campus coding. So
Yeah, and isn't that a lovely sight for sure? Now you won't see them on the physical campus, but you'll see them in the virtual campus.
right.
Mike, I believe you have to step out right around now. So if that's the case, any closing comments before you head out the door?
I will tell you that I was unaware of it becoming a world finals. And when I tell my students, they're going to be ecstatic to be able to know that they have the chance to compete like that. So I can tell everybody, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I can help. I'm sure Stephanie, Trevor, and Jim could also help. So if you need anything, feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, I feel this is the best competition I've ever been a part of, and I always look forward to it. And it's not always about the being first, second, or third place. It's for the kids getting a chance to compete with others and see how they can stand with others doing the coding. So.
Well, thanks, Mike, for joining us. Really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mike.
Stephanie,
Hey, thanks everybody.
like Stephanie, you were going to weigh in.
If I could just right off of what Mike said, he's exactly right. It's about academic sportsmanship. You see things come out in your students that you could only hope for, and they're doing it. The term is academic sportsmanship. I don't know how else to put it there, but they were all there for each other, and it was all because of the programming and the setup of how the CoderZ operates, and it's just been wonderful.
Yeah, right on. We're here to support you all the way. So one question came in, which I guess is pretty important. Which one's harder, Blockly, Python? Is it a matter of setting kids up for success where they're at?
Probably from a technical standpoint, the Blockly is a little bit easier, only because you can see the menus. You can see which blocks you want to pull from the menus to bring them into your code. So it kind of gives you that template, that format for coding. Python's going to be a little bit more complex, where you're writing your code from scratch and you're looking at kind of users guides and resources of what code you need to write, but it doesn't kind of give you that template or that complete format.
Okay. One other question came in, which is, if we have kids under 5th grade but are enjoying CoderZ, so I think the CoderZ curriculum itself is sometimes adopted 3rd, 4th grade, are they eligible to participate in the competition?
Yes, absolutely. They are more than welcome to participate in the CoderZ League Junior. We are also offering a CoderZ Adventure Pack. That's just a sample of our CoderZ Adventure curriculum. So if they're not quite ready for competition, they can go through that Adventure Pack, get a feel for how the coding works, practice their code, understand the simulation and writing code, and that thought process of thinking like a programmer. Use that kind of as a practice year, as a template for your commitment to future competitions.
Okay, right on. So interestingly, in the chat section of this window, someone just commented that they had a 2nd grader who was doing really well with CoderZ. So I'm mindful of time. I'm going to move us through some of these stages. We are looking at first the preliminaries. Opens up October 19th. This is a place for you to get in. You get access to activities and challenges, and this is where you can learn some of the mechanics. And it's a great way for all students to participate. Now, the actual challenge will be revealed on November 16th, if I'm not mistaken. So it's at that point you can really start to roll up your sleeves and get going. But I think people are really excited to kind of see what this is all about. So what I'd like to do, Trevor, is switch and make you the presenter. How do you feel about that?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Do it.
I do want to kind of preference. So the preliminaries, we will, that's the full competition mode. So essentially, you're going to start with several training activities, and then there's going to be 4 main challenges in those preliminaries. So that's going to be kind of your area to practice, to get your teams organized, to get them coding, and then eventually they'll migrate to that. So you'll release a kind of a final stage, or that 5th stage, which is going to be part of the next phase of the competition here. So I'm sharing my screen. Jim, can you see that here?
I can confirm we can see your screen. And Stephanie, I think you're pretty excited.
Yeah, are you guys ready to take a look? Are you ready to actually see? This is a live site here. I do want to make the comment that our development team has given me a hard time saying, do not show anything, Trevor. This is secret. We can't release anything on the competition. So they have modified my account a little bit to give me a little less access that one would normally see when the competition is open. However, it does give me enough information to share this with everybody, kind of give you a sneak peek of the league and how it's going to work. So when you log into CoderZ, you're going to see one of these two main packs. If you order CoderZ League Junior, you'll see that here. If you order CoderZ League Pro, you'll see that here. Any supplemental curriculum, maybe CR 101 or CR 102, will also be added to your packs if those were included. As I click on CoderZ League Junior, here you're going to start with a training camp. This is just practice missions, some training missions to get you familiar with the software, how to write code, how to click blocks together, how the simulation works. And then we have our 4 main challenges. So you guys ready for a little announcement here? We have Robo Golf is going to be one of our challenge level, Disco Blocks. We have Farm Fever and Lasers versus Balloons. So I haven't been in there to take a look at that, but that does sound pretty exciting as to what that's going to entail and how our robot is going to code that. So let me open the Robo Golf mission here. We will take a look at the activities. In Robo Golf, as I open this up, you will see the final challenge pack. So this is going to be the final game, the final challenge, and then all of these preliminary missions, kind of our practice missions, giving you ideas, giving you code concepts, little snippets of code that you can work through, that you can code in order to write this final challenge or write your code for this final challenge. So I'm going to open up this activity 3. This is one that I've already done before. I'm going to go full screen so you guys can see this full screen. So in this Robo Golf mission, the objective is to push these balls into each one of these cups. And now these are going to get more complex as I complete this mission. I think I chose mission 3 here. So this is one of the early ones. This is one of the basic ones. There are many resources available for you or for your students on the simulation screen. So that's going to reinforce those STEM skills, the math, the science, the geometry, with these various measurement tools that you can use here on the screen. And it's my go-to webinar panel is kind of hiding behind that. So here I can kind of take a look at a distance. I can measure a distance of how far I want to drive, or I can measure an angle here and determine exactly this angle that I need to turn in order to hit that block. In addition to that, we also give you a heads-up display showing you the state of the sensors on the robot. So if you wanted to incorporate sensor feedback, looking at wheel encoders, looking at a gyroscope sensor, you can use that as well. In this case, my objective, I've got a score here or a time here on the upper right-hand side of the screen. My objective is to complete this mission in less than 10 seconds. But however, if you notice that each one of these, the kind of the holes that I'm putting the ball into, these are a 10. So these will actually add to my score. So as I run this code, you'll see the robot drive. I'm hitting those balls, kind of watch my time and my score here, my time as I hit that 10. And I have completed the mission. Ta-da, well done, Trevor. I have successfully completed that mission. It gives me a little mission summary. It's kind of hidden behind this pop-up window here, but it shows the number of blocks or the balls that I've pushed in, as well as a total final mission score. So each mission does have more than one solution. There's no right or wrong answer here. Students are encouraged to strategize, to use trial and error, to revise their code and improve their results as they make progress. Teachers, your objective is to motivate your students by sharing the class leaderboard, encouraging them to think outside the box and to attempt different strategies and different solutions. I'm going to go back to my learning center here. You guys want to take a look at the CoderZ League Pro missions?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes, people are cheering. Stephanie, I'm imagining this is right in line with what you'd hoped it would be, right? I mean, the one thing I'd be curious as a teacher coming in at first with no experience, I'm always impressed with the level of graphics that are in play here. For a web-based virtual robotics environment, they're doing a really bang-up job with the graphics, and I bet that matters to your kids.
They get so excited. Matter of fact, we saw a little preview last year of what was to come for this, what we're talking about now, and our kids were just off. They are so excited. They really get into it, and they actually take ownership, and they feel like they're in there, and it's just really, it's exciting. I'm psyched. I'm excited.
Well, that's why you're here. We're excited to have you here. So Trevor, as you go into showing now an example from CoderZ League Pro, we saw a whole bunch of missions laid out. I guess they don't technically have to be solved in sequence, do they? You could poke around a little bit, but it is designed for incremental skills building. So that's one question that came up. And I would say, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, absolutely, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but yeah, so as you open up that pack, the RoboGolf pack, you'll see the final challenge here. So probably the first thing your students are going to do is look at that final challenge and say, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to code this? They certainly do have that opportunity to go into that final challenge, start writing their code, start doing their code. Those missions before that are really kind of snippets of that final challenge. And you kind of saw an easy version of that. Think of RoboGolf also having multiple levels, and maybe there's slides, and maybe there's carousels, and maybe there's additional features in that final challenge, and some of those earlier missions may help you write your code in order to figure out what you need to do for that final challenge.
And if I could add something here, one of the things I saw even with our students, one of the things as a teacher, when you hand out an assessment or a test, you have them read the test first, and hardly they ever do that. But last year, what we noticed with our programming is they were going out of order. And the reason is they actually went into each mission, looked to see what was asked of them. And then as a team, they developed, all right, well, you guys work on this one, we're going to work on that one. And they collaborated and set a whole plan up themselves. And I just sat back and was like, you go for it. And they really, but they embraced it themselves. And it was user friendly that way too.
Very exciting. Forgive me, I lost audio for a second. So Trevor, take us into this next.
Yep, so CoderZ League Pro has 4 main challenges. We have Battery Raid, we have Space Chase, Jungle Gym, and Life on Mars. So I'm going to open up the Space Chase challenge. And again, there will be practice missions or preliminary missions there. Again, my account here is slightly limited to prevent me from sharing too much information. But yeah, I heard an awe. I almost been you, Stephanie, because your audio is there. Space Chase. In this mission, Ruby has traded her wheels for wings. In this challenge, your objective is to write code. As I hit the run simulation here, you'll notice some small blocks kind of popping in on the center of the screen. So your objective is going to be to write code to avoid these red objects, these asteroids that are coming at you, and collecting the green objects. These are going to be power-ups. These are going to give you more fuel for your robot to drive forward. The bottom center of our screen here gives us more information. So you can actually see a visual of what your robot's hitting. There's a distance sensor showing how far away the object is. There's your speed. There's a color sensor there. So you can use this feedback on your screen from the robot to then write your code and adapt and change your objective here and move your robot around. So hitting the meteors and my sample code that I've gotten in is not so good. But kind of gives you a quick visual of what this mission is and how you're going to write your code for that mission. So what do you guys think? Are you excited? Are your students going to be excited? Here, yeah.
Stephanie, yeah. What do you think, Stephanie?
You know what? I don't want anybody to be over. Those graphics are awesome and the kids are going to be excited, but I really want to make the point, those preliminary missions lead you up to that awesomeness in that final mission with everything all together. So I don't want anybody to feel like it's an overwhelming experience. There's a reason they have those preliminary missions leading up to that final one. And they kind of step your students into and accepting all this added extra stuff, and it just builds on itself. So don't be overwhelmed with it. Be excited about it, because they do walk you through it.
It's really amazing. And so some of the technical questions coming in, and again, there will be an orientation webinar for people participating later this month. But there is a split screen view. You got a sneak preview of that before Trevor went into full screen view. So you will have a chance to actually execute code, whether it's Blockly or in Python. And so this is, this is not for the faint of heart, but yet it's so inclusive that everyone can take heart in the fact that they will be successful. So we're pretty excited about that. Some other questions are coming up about like the organization and the pricing. So I want to move us through what this looks like. We talked about the preliminaries. The challenge will get revealed in mid-November, and then we move into group stage, where the games will be broadcast, and then I guess there's a cross-checking of code versus their results. And out of the group stage, the top 2 teams advance to the playoffs. And again, the reveal is on November 16th, so you have a chance to work through that together. I'm just going through some questions. Trevor, anything I've missed at a high level here?
No, that group stage will consist of a series of classes and teams kind of within a geographical region. Every participant who participated in those preliminary rounds will automatically advance to this group stage. There's no eliminations. If you competed, you can still compete. You're either competing as your class, you're competing as a team. And in this stage, your class or team is going to be grouped into a group with 3 or 4 other classes or teams. Your objective here is you're given a short window to collaborate. We are going to, we mentioned that there's a challenge reveal here on November 16th. So we're going to show you a 5th challenge. So we showed you the 4 there that I showed you on a preliminary screen. There will be a new challenge that's going to be revealed on the 16th. You can write your code for that. And then teams will submit or upload their code to the CoderZ server, to our administrators. We will compare that code. We will run challenges. You guys will actually be competing against other teams in a multiplayer format where teams are pitted against each other. You'll see your code competing against another team's code.
And Stephanie, how do kids actually collaborate around code? It's not just one kid at a keyboard and the others watching. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Well, we have everybody log in. They each have their own device. Or if they don't have their device, they're able to share and collaborate together. And it actually becomes more of a dialogue between the students. So it's not necessarily what's showing up on the screen per se, or what they're doing on the screen, but there's that dialogue between the students. So I'm confident that with the breakout rooms that we're going to be using, that they're also still going to be able to continue that dialogue as well as actually do that code. So they do help each other through it. It's nice.
Yeah, nice. Okay, that's exactly what we're looking for. Within each group, the top 2 teams will advance then to the playoff stage. And this is where you play against each other on code that you've improved throughout the competition. And this is where the rubber meets the road. And I guess this is pretty exciting times here. Now, along the way, and we'll revisit this in just a few minutes, this is really about setting up kids for success. So even if they only make it through the group stage, they're going to walk out feeling really empowered, having learned things, having had a lot of fun. So we're in playoff mode, and then we get into the regional finals. Tell us a little bit about that, Trevor.
Yeah, so the regional finals are going to be the same final challenge that they saw in that group stage, but teams will be given the opportunity to refine their code. So they'll be tweaking it. They'll be making changes. They'll be making adjustments and strategizing and thinking of better ways to code and better opportunities to score more points or spend more time on the playing field. Aim for a higher score. Try to perform better on the challenge, and then you can submit your new final code for these regional finals, for the playoffs and for these regional finals. So essentially, you're advancing to further and further stages as you progress through the competition's phases.
And looks like the team structure, I'm looking at questions coming in, since this is an informational panel, looks like they took, looks like you have some flexibility in how you organize your team. But I don't know, I guess the question is, can you recalibrate your team as you move through? And I don't think you can change up teams as you move from group stage into regional finals, right?
So your team, whether it's a team of 5 or a class of 30, will all kind of collaborate together and write code. So some maybe all may be doing the same objective. It may be something similar to Stephanie's process, where one group works on a small snippet, another group over here works on a snippet. At that deadline, the entire class, the entire team is going to collaborate to have one final code, and that one code is going to be submitted to our servers. So hopefully the entire class, the entire team is working together to work on a piece of that final code that's going to be submitted as the kind of final submission that you're posing for the challenge.
Man, this is super exciting. And then we get into the World Finals just after the new year. So there'll be an epic battle and a final showdown of that code that's submitted before the 8th. And the finals are going to be streamed live on Twitch this year. So whereas we used to convene oftentimes on a university campus, this year, we're going to convene virtually on Twitch, which is pretty exciting. So I think there's a lot happening. Stephanie, I hope your teams are going to get pretty pumped up about this.
We start tomorrow. Well, we're excited. We're starting. We're getting ready to go.
Getting them fired up. Absolutely. I'm looking through some of the questions. one of the questions was, can students generate their own challenges? So I don't know, is there a place for free-form coding inside the competition, or is it that they follow inside those practice areas, Trevor?
The CoderZ classroom curriculum does have a My Projects area where they can go in and they can write their own code. Think of that as an open playground or a sandbox where they can go and write their own code. The challenge missions, the CoderZ League missions, do not have that. They will be writing their code based on the missions that are provided to them, the activities that are there.
Okay, right on. And for those of you wondering, this is designed to be flexible in nature. I guess we've all had to be a little bit more flexible this year. So if you are doing this as an after-school club, an elective inside school hours, or as a class, or maybe you've carved out time, even before school for you early birds. There is no set time at which you have to convene. It's just about operating within that window, whether it's the prelims, group stage, regionals, or finals. So a lot of flexibility there. Let's take a look then at the awards. I'll move through this quickly. So the goal is to progress through each stage and try and come out with the best code and the best score. During the orientation webinars later this month for the participants, we'll talk about the awards because we are trying to focus not just on the most robust code, that's critically important, but also about inclusivity and sort of the overall excellence across teams, across schools, and across classes as well. So know that we're trying to move kids forward so that, again, they're successful every step of the way, no matter how long this journey takes them. And you know what, Stephanie, this picture looks a little familiar now that I'm looking at it.
I'm proud of my girls. I'm proud of my team. Yes, that's us. That's us.
So for some of you wondering, there will be a recording of this webinar made available. And let's talk about some of the pricing questions that have come up. So this is the organization of pricing right now. Now, these are photos from prior competitions. We recognize that a lot of you are remote. We took that poll early on in this panel. So your experience might be a little bit different. Some of you are hybrid. So next year we'll take photos. We might have masks on these. But if you set up a team up to 5 students, it's only $90 to join in. Class club allows you up to 30 students. And then if you have a school where you have up to 240 students participating, it's $745. This is available on CoderZLeague.com/register. So you can find out more about the league on that website as well as the registration costs. I should also note that if you're in a Title I school, you're eligible for a 40% discount. And that is precisely because we're trying to foster a sense of inclusivity and encourage all kids, no matter their background, no matter their socioeconomic status, to have access to this kind of global competition. So that is a bit about pricing. I'm going to click over here and look at some of the questions. You can certainly have more than one team. The timings for the orientation class will be communicated out via email. If you have students from other parts of the world, including from India, for example, we'll do our best to accommodate something that's friendly to your time zone, even if that means, Trevor, you have to do an evening session to hit our folks in the morning. So
it would not be the first time I've gotten up early or stayed up late.
That's right. So no problem there. One question is there a spring challenge? Right now, this is set up as a fall challenge, I suppose, based on the level of demand and where we are in our educational setting. We'll look at the seasonality of this, but right now it's set up as an as an annual competition. So let me click through this a little bit. I guess one of the questions, Stephanie, is would it make sense to have multiple teams or a class? So if you have a class of 30 all leaning in on as one group, or would it be better to have them separate? And I guess that's really a judgment call based on your local circumstances. But how would you grapple with that question?
So I can only speak from how we set it up. We kind of took it as as our school, we are a team. And then within our school, we broke it down to our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So they were segregated that way. And then I'm the 7th grade teacher. So then I broke it down even a little bit smaller per class. So, but as we were overall, you know, our school was the big team, and then we had the little mini segments. And as far as like who were our travelers or who were our competition, our you know, people that you saw in the picture, what we did was we honestly took the top 4 scorers from our entire school. So it didn't matter what grade you were in, we took our top 4 scores. And last year it happened to be our top 4 coders were all girls. And we had 6th, 7th, and 8th grade represented. So it was nice.
Love it. Now, one technical question came up, Trevor, which is this is not a native app to iPad or Android. It is a web-delivered experience optimized for Chromebooks. I guess the question is, will it work in an iPad setting?
We are not compatible with an iPad setting. Our simulation uses a Chrome-only application, WebGL, which is not available on mobile devices. So that includes Android, that includes iPads.
Okay.
But any other browsers work, PC, Chromebooks, Macs will work, but not compatible with the mobile devices.
Okay, so that's the one bummer, but I think we've hit just about every other question over there, including pricing. You will get more information. I'm just looking through the questions here, folks, as we start to wrap up the hour. In terms of structure of teams, as Stephanie mentioned, it's a judgment call. As far as to how to organize, say, a group of 30 and whether or not you want to break them into teams, again, kind of a judgment call based on how you want to organize their movement through the competition. I suppose in some ways I would advocate if you have enough and you have the financial capacity to organize by team, that probably gives you a little bit more, I would say, independence for each of those groups as opposed to trying to win it down based on scores. But ultimately, that's a judgment call. Your Title I will have some form of verification just to make sure that we honor the Title I's standing. And let's see. Going through, I don't know about the technical question of using a Chrome browser on the iPad. I guess that came up as well. I don't think that will satisfy, unfortunately. It's really about the operating system. So if you are an after-school program or a nonprofit that serves Title I students, give us a call and we'll try and sort that out as best we can. And by the way, someone acknowledged that Safari will work, so that's interesting. If you jumped in late, just remember, we will make this recording available. We've had folks coming in and out, so we're really excited to introduce you to CoderZ League. We think that there's a lot happening in the world today, and a STEM competition is exactly what should be happening right now. So registrations are open. One of the questions that came in over our panel is, can we still register? Absolutely. You simply go to CoderZLeague.com. You can learn more about that overall competition, the stages, the timeline, and everything else. Let's continue the recap. Listen, the launch is October 19th, but we're going to have orientations in September. So we're going to answer more technical questions about your involvement, about how to organize teams, about coding and prerequisites, and all the ways in which you can get support. So we will see you through every step of the way. And it's just a really, really exciting time to be part of this competition. So I encourage you to get out there, find us at CoderZLeague.com/register. If you have questions, let us know. It's simply go to contact us on the CoderZ League site. Stephanie, any closing comments before we wind down?
I just want to put out there that don't doubt yourself with how much time you can put for this. It's opening that opportunity, opening that window for your students, giving them that chance, and you will be so surprised at how they'll just grasp this and run with it and go with it, and they'll just be so happy. If there's anything I can do, if you need any help, any suggestions, give me a shout out, and I would be so happy to help you out. So good luck, and may the code be with you. Sorry, Trev, stole it.
You stole it.
You stole his line. Hey, listen, everyone, thanks so much for attending. Now, given the time, we haven't been able to address all your questions, but like I said, if you simply fill out the Contact Us form, we can help you understand different pricing scenarios. If you need support in communicating this out to your students with a flyer, or if you need a letter of support and endorsement for this program to bring to your school board. We can help. Just let us know how we can serve you best. We will make this recording available, and registrations are open, I think, until when? Trevor, do you know the close date of the registration?
It is going to be that mid-October timeframe when we open the competition.
Okay, so right up until October 19th, when the competition starts, you'll have your chance to get in and get involved. I do encourage you to get in early. You get that much more time to start poking around and practicing, and we're just really excited. Stephanie, thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you for all you do for your kids. And if you folks need anything else, let us know. And all right, so one technical, because we're human, I'm noticing that the Contact Us link gets a 404. So I promise we'll get that up and running immediately. The staff on our back end, I'm sure, is already working on it. So we're so glad that that means you are reaching out. We will be getting that activated as soon as possible. But if you need anything in the meantime, call Trevor. He's at home up in New Hampshire, and he'll be happy to host you. So Stephanie, thanks so much. Trevor, appreciate your time. And everyone else, may the code be with you, and best of luck.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, folks, and that concludes our official presentation. We still have a number of attendees live on this session. We'll hang on for just a few minutes as we try and get that Contact Us link activated on the account. If there's any final questions, we're so grateful for so many of you that were here, including from all around the country and all around the world. We're really excited, and we will, like I said, get that Contact Us link activated. I'm sure there's more than a few people mid-heart attack right now trying to figure that out. So thanks for being here. Stephanie, are we going to see you maybe taking a medal podium position this year?
You know what? I have to say, I don't know that we can participate with the dates.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? You never know. We'll see what we can work out.
We'll do our best to make it work for you, for sure.
Oh, we're fine. My kids will probably log in from home, so we'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out. That's right. All right.
We just got the status update that the Contact Us link has been resolved, so our technical team is thumbs up to them.
That was a test to see how responsive we were. So there it is.
I told you they were supportive. I told you.
120 seconds.
There it
That's
is.
about it. All right, Stephanie, we're just past the hour. Thanks so much. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, Stephanie, I want to say thank you for being here. Thanks for taking part of it. We hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for everything you do.
Thank you, everybody.